today is actually give you a look at the harbour bridge. We'll drive over it. You can see what it's like to drive when it was being built, and a few people died actually building it, but there was a tale, and it's not really I think it's actually a myth, but basically what happened was a guy fell off the bridge into the harbour, and to break his fall he threw a hammer first to sort of like break the surface of the water, and he survived. But I think that's actually a myth. But yeah, very nice bridge, and yeah, it's iconic. Obviously, some of you may have seen the harbour bridge, around New Year's. Hi, I'm Paul Rushworth-brown, author of Skullduggery, Red Winter Journey, and Dream of Courage. And I'm here with the lovely Gillian Wells, who's about to release her latest book, Fear. Gillian, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, just read your author bio on Shoreline Publishing. So, Gillian, you're described as a lovely English lady who lives in rural Queensland with her cattle dog, Jess. She has 3 children living in Australia, France, and England, and 4 grandchildren. You love meeting people and have travelled widely in Australia, and is one of Australia's best known and enjoyed authors. So, Gillian.
Well, we're going to talk about fear, aren't we? Because I've got so many books that it's a job to pick one. Fear is about a young woman who has gone through a messy divorce. She's a city girl. She lived in Brisbane and Ipswich. And she sees a job advertised right out in the sticks in rural Queensland. And so she decides that she'll go for this job. And she takes her children with her, obviously, 2 little girls. And they do not like being away from their friends, stuck out in the country. And there's an old house across the paddocks from them. It's a bit of a spooky looking house. And they find out eventually, after quite a while, that there's a very odd old man lives there who's been accused of murder, and he had actually served time in prison. And I don't want to give you too much away. There's a child abduction, there's a bushfire, and of course there's this old man in the background. So it's a bit spooky, a bit scary. And he tries to frighten them away. Nobody really knows why he's trying to frighten the family away, but they go through all sorts of uncomfortable things happening to them.
Sounds wonderful. Or scary, actually. I've actually seen the cover. And so from what I know, that's coming out in June of this year. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. Yeah.
I can't wait to read it. So, Julian, I mean, we've and I mean, what's this about, your 10th novel?
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me, I mean...
It's I think it's the 10th one to be published, but I have actually written 17, so there's quite a few in the pipeline.
Okay, so that includes sort of like children's books as well, doesn't it?
Yes, I've written 4 children's books. 3 have been published, and there's 1 more to come, which is a continuation of the last one, which was published, which was called Books and Spooks.
I believe the popular ones are is it something Books and Bubs?
Bub and Tub. They are two Bub and Tubs, and they're
It's Bubs and Tubs. Yeah. Okay, so I don't read many children's books.
I often wonder why I chose 2 such similar names, because if I'm reading to a whole group of children, I get completely tongue-tied, make them giggle. But anyway, there you go.
Yeah, wonderful. So, I mean, I wrote 3 novels, and it took me sort of like 5 years to write 3 novels, and I thought that was pretty good. What's your secret?
What's my secret? I don't know. I'm just got to.
How do you do it?
I just sit down and write and write and write. Really, I mean, it just comes. I don't know. I'm often asked this question. It just seems to be there. It's when I'm writing a novel, it's like being a fly on the wall, and it's a movie that's happening in front of me, or it's just there. That's the only way I can describe it.
Great.
I've never had writer's block, touch wood, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe I will one day.
Yeah. You're amazing, and it's so nice to have you on the show again. So I thought we'd do something a little bit different today, rather than sort of like just asking you the same old questions. I've got 50 questions here that can be asked to authors, and what I'm going to do is you need to choose a number between 1 and 50. Right? Then I'm going to read you the question, and then you obviously answer it. All right. So what's your first number?
5.
5. Okay. So the question is, what are common traps for aspiring writers?
What are common traps? I think it's not being very confident, and thinking that what you're writing isn't perhaps what you should be writing or what people might like to read, and having writer's block as well. All those things I think can be very difficult.
Yeah,
you have to believe in yourself, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what stops a lot of people from having a go. It's just sort of like thinking.
Yes, I think they think
to themselves, or who's going to want?
Yeah,
and I think
that's right.
And I remember. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I think people think, oh gosh, this is too hard, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not. Okay, give me another number.
7.
Okay, what is your writing kryptonite?
That's a difficult one. Well, I think I've kind of answered that in a way, haven't I?
What's your personal kryptonite, though? So, in other words, what's the one thing that sort of like causes you? I mean, obviously, you mentioned before that it's like a story, like a movie in front of you, right? And that's wonderful that you can write like that. And I suppose to a certain extent I do too. But what's the one thing that sort of like causes you the most problem as an author?
I don't really know. Probably finding the time to do it.
Okay.
I don't really know. Yeah, sometimes I think the one thing that I sometimes have to not exactly struggle with, but think about a lot is I like to make everything as realistic as possible. I'm not into fantasy and things, and if it's a scene, say a murder scene or something, I want it to be real. I don't want it to be so far-fetched that people are going to sit there and think, well, that couldn't have happened. So that's probably my biggest thing.
Okay, all right. Okay, one more question, all right?
Right.
Between 1 and 50.
15.
15. How did publishing your first book change your process of writing?
I'm not really sure that it did. I mean, I started off writing. No, not really. I mean, I wrote 2 children's books, the Bub and Tub first, and then I thought it had always been within me to write an adult novel. I was even started to do that when I was 14, 15, but
Right.
life took over as it does, and I didn't actually get the chance to write properly until I retired. So, yeah, I started off by writing the children's books, and then thought, right, well, now I've got this far, I will actually have a go at writing an adult book, and that's how it all kicked off, really. And now you can't stop me.
Wonderful. You know, I was saying to you before that there's some real technical issues with the internet and that today. So we need to sort of like write a letter to the government and get those wallabies pedaling faster.
Oh no, my NBN has been a real problem this last few weeks. It's dropped, and it's the man from NBN had me crawling about on the floor under a desk the other day. But anyway, it wasn't anything to do with what in the house either. It was somewhere away. It was just the signal. I don't know. It's crazy.
And you know, obviously, you sort of like living all the way up in Queensland. It's that obviously must have an effect. So, Gillian, it's been fantastic talking to you again, and I hope we can talk again on being the first author on the show. And it's been lovely having you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.